In today's video, I want to help a dude named Peter out, if possible, because Peter is on the hunt for a replacement vehicle for his septuagenarian mummy, who's just had a knee replacement. So she doesn't want one of these low-slung cars anymore. She wants to step up, literally, or at least across, into an SUV. So is this a bridge that you have crossed personally or crossed on behalf of your aging parents? If so, and it worked out well, please chime in the comments, because that would give the whole community a voice and a bit of input here, which would be extremely helpful to Peter in the circumstances. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au. New cars cheap, but Australia only. Website. Come! So confronting, I think, when, as an adult, you subsume some of the responsibilities of the parent and your roles get flipped on their ear. Ask me how I know. It's like staring into a window and seeing your own mortality looking back, like, here's what's coming, dude. Are you looking forward to it? Or would you rather just make the most of today? I'd rather just use the force inappropriately. Skirt goes up, skirt goes down, kind of thing. Anywho, that's not helping Peter or his money very much. And I really would like it if you could chime in the comments if you've got something helpful to add, especially. Peter says, my 70-year-old mum's just had a knee replacement and is looking to change cars from a low Camry sedan to something a bit smaller but easier to get in and out of. I was thinking about a small SUV and wondering what your advice might be. Regards, Peter. 13 points out of 10, Peter, for trying to do the right thing by mummy, and also for writing in complete sentences with cogent thought. Jesus, imagine if most Australians, imagine if that was the median Australian. Where would we be if only we could step up quite that far? Peter says in the postscript that I bought a Kia Sorento in 2019 on your advice, and it's been fantastic for our family. Thank you. You're welcome, Peter. Thank you for using us to procure your vehicle. Best thing, I think, about owning a 2019 Sorento at this point is still under warranty for another 18 months or so, dude. So, bit of added protection there. And Kia's pretty good at customer support too. So, on this issue, when you have a knee replacement, I studied biomedical engineering for one unit at university, and the confronting thing about knee replacements is that normal human knees go much further than 90 degrees, whereas prosthetic knees typically only get to about 90 degrees. That's their range of motion. So it makes getting up off the deck a little bit challenging when you can't get your knee past 90 degrees, okay? And that means if you have a bung knee, ankle, hip, back, whatever, if you're crushed by a forklift in a horrific accident in industry back in the 1980s or something, the thing to look for in a vehicle is not one that's too high or too low, but one where the seat height is pretty close to your own standing hip height. So that means you can get in and out by more or less going across and back out by going across, right? Rather than climbing up and sitting down and then climbing down to get out, or vice versa in the case of Peter's mum with a fairly low-slung car. Get it out, dude. How hard is it? It's not like we could have 100 takes if you really gave a rat's, right? So the height thing is going to vary depending on the height of mommy or whoever in question, and that means getting face-to-face with the car and actually having a crack. The other thing, of course, is that mommy has to agree. She's got to buy in, and there'll be all kinds of intangible factors that you can't really control about that. With a lot of, when I think about my own mother, for example, she'll never watch this, so balance of probability, I'll probably get to stay in the will. When I think about my own mother, she'd have to like the salesman. Oh, he's nice, therefore the car's lovely, you know, or logic to that effect kind of thing. So there's not much you can do about these intangible emotional sort of criteria, right? That's just going to unfold in front of you. And your job is to go, and just stay in the will, dude. But when it comes to the objective facts about vehicles of this nature, I'd say, dude, the world is your oyster. And just leaving China to one side, because I wouldn't jump for a Chinese car just yet. I'd let someone else be the frickin' lab rat in all of that and just see how that unfolds. And the good ones will differentiate themselves from the bad ones in due course. And then you can figure out which brands to put on your list and which brands are a scratching. Kind of like Jeep, Volkswagen, Nissan, Honda. Not really thinking SsangYong. Not really thinking about them. Whereas Mazda, Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, yeah, okay, to some extent Subaru, although I think they're losing their way a little bit. But the world is your oyster in cars of this category, because there's got to be 30-something of them broadly available in Australia today. So here's a bit of a short list. It's not really going to matter which one as long as she likes it, because on objective criteria, 70-year-old mummy is going to want to do some local driving, and that's probably about it. Because if she was, an off-road enthusiast or some interstate traveller, I'm assuming Peter, who writes in sentences, would have just mentioned that. So she's just going to want a car to do the shops, coffee, medical appointments, daily logistics and stuff of that nature. Not too many 1,000k drives, most probably. If she was going to drive a long distance, she'd probably go with Peter. So I'd suggest Toyota, Kia, Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Mazda. If you can't find one of those that you like, you're too much of a hard marker, like far too much of a hard marker. So my short list here would be, and after just looking at them and sitting in them, it'd just be a personal preference deal. It would be Corolla Cross or Yaris Cross, Kia Sportage or Seltos, Hyundai Kona, Venue or Tucson, Mitsubishi ASX or Eclipse Cross, Subaru Forester or Crosstrek, and Mazda CX-3 or CX-30. They'll probably do everything the Camry did, have a slightly elevated seating position, and just be nicer, more contemporary, more polished, a little bit more compact and easy to park, although I'd say the Tucson and the Sportage are probably just up there with being a bit too big for mommy at this stage. So maybe we could scratch them on the basis of not fitting in completely with the smaller SUV set. And then would be Corolla Cross, Yaris Cross, Seltos, Kona, Venue, ASX, Eclipse Cross, Forester, Crosstrek. We might scratch Forester as well because it's actually pretty big now too. So scratch Forester, Crosstrek, CX-3 and CX-30. And if mommy can't be happy with one of those, then diazepam, dude. And if you wouldn't mind helping out at this point by just, if you've crossed this bridge, like I said, let us know in the comments, because your experience of this could be extremely helpful to Peter at this point, good or bad. If you made a bad call, let us know. And if you made exactly the right call for mommy, or if you are that mommy and you made the right call on your own, tell us what you bought, why you bought it, why you're happy with it, why you're not. Let's turn the wild, wild west of the comments section, which is usually, ceramic plates front and back, I'm going in. Let's turn that into more of a helpful, constructive conversation about what to do in Peter's situation. Thanks very much for watching.